All right, so for several years, Carol Sharp has served the legal field in the United States, and she was recently elected to become a Justice of the Supreme Court in New York. She joins us now via Zoom. Welcome, Your Honor, and thank you so much for joining us here on Smile Jamaica. It's morning time. How are you?
I am well, and thank you so much for having me on. It's such an honor and privilege to
Well,
speak to you.
I,
Morning.
I think the honor and privilege is on our side. Let's start with the Jamaican connection. I mean, I have it here, but tell us where you're from in Jamaica, when you left, with school you went to, stuff like that, please.
Well, I grew up on Bay Farm Road. From I was born until I immigrated to the U.S. in 1976. I had the pleasure of attending Halfway Tree Primary School and the Queen's School, and I left after fifth form from Queen's.
In preparing for this, I read where you wanted to be a doctor. You have a degree in sociology. So how did you end up in law?
Good question, right? Yes, I was not one of these individuals who knew exactly what she wanted to do. But one thing that was very important to my parents and my siblings, I'm number 6 of 7 children. So when I immigrated to the US, my older siblings were in college, we went to college. So you had to be doing something with your life. And someone had a kind word to say to me one day. I was doing a paralegal course after I finished college, and a friend of one of my older sisters said to me, "Why be the cart when you can be the horse? Why don't you apply to law school?" I did, and I got in, and here I am.
And take me through that process before you became a judge.
Well, I first started my career as a lawyer in the Bronx District Attorney's Office. So I was a prosecutor for 7 years. Then I became a trial attorney with the Jamaican accent. I tried many, many, many cases. That was my career, both as a prosecutor and in the civil world. I was employed by the New York City Transit Authority for many years. I worked for a Jamaican judge. Before I became a judge, I worked for a Jamaican judge in the Bronx Supreme Court. And that's what gave me the confidence that I could do this, because I did not think that somebody like me, who wasn't born in that part of the world, in that I didn't come out of money. I didn't come out with this great big dream that I knew what I wanted to do. And, as an immigrant and with this accent of mine, I never thought that people like me could become a judge. However, with the pushing of my husband and certain of my friends, attorneys who knew my ability, they encouraged me, and I did, and I got elected to the civil court back in 2013, and I pushed forward again, and I got elected to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, congrats again. And also congrats that yeah, I was going to say you don't have an accent, but you do, a Jamaican one. And you've been gone for so long. That's kind of strange.
No, there's a theory, I've heard that if you immigrate under a certain age, I think someone told me it was either 12 or something, you could change your accent. But I came here after high school, so this is the accent, this is what I hear in my ears, and to speak another way just doesn't sound.
Yeah, I'm sure you will correct me if I don't get this question right, but what's the difference between a judge, as you were, and a judge in the Supreme Court? What's the difference there?
Yes, it's the lower court has, in civil, it has what we call a jurisdiction. Oh God, here I am, nervous. I can't even say the word. Jurisdictional amount. That is, in the lower court, you can sue for up to $25,000. And then there are certain other matters that come to civil court. However, in Supreme Court, the jurisdictional amount is over $25,000 and up to any amount, millions, billions. And there are certain matters that can only be brought in Supreme Court.
Okay. You said you just got elected. You ran on a Democratic ticket?
Yes, and a Democratic ticket. And to be on the ticket for the Supreme Court, you have to get nominated. So before you can get on the ballot, there's a nomination convention, something like the presidential convention. Please, I'm not equating it with the presidential, the Democratic National Convention or the Republican National Convention, where you have many candidates trying to get that one position. So here, there were many judges who were trying to get one of the 4 open seats this year. So we had a nominating convention in August, and I got nominated. And
Uh,
that's
yeah. I suspect that, well, just speaking with you now, it seems like you're a very confident person. But does your rise surprise you?
absolutely, absolutely. Like I told you, I did not think that someone like me could become a judge. I did not have the confidence, frankly. I was just working hard. And one of the things I'd encourage anybody is you have to continue to go to school. You have to, every day, every task you get, work to the best of your ability and align yourself with people. And for me, it was not any great motivated thing. The way I was brought up, there's some things you don't do and some people you cannot associate with because they will bring you down. And if you want something good out of your life, you cannot do certain things. That's the way I was raised. That's my parents. You know, we were brought up in the church. So that is the philosophy that we have. And lots of friends pushed me to become a judge.
Yeah,
I did not have.
fantastic. Well, that's a surprise that you said you didn't have the confidence. I should have probably asked you this up front because with the virus, this awful pandemic, and New York a hot spot, what has it been like for you, ma'am?
Well, first, I want to say one more thing. I am what you would consider a disabled person. I walk with 1 or 2 crutches. Much earlier, I was diagnosed with cancer, a tumor on my thigh bone, and I've had many surgeries and reconstructions. So I walk with a crutch. And I did all of this, trying cases and pushing to become a judge as a disabled person. So I just want to encourage anyone with a disability, don't give up. I too used to speak with a lisp and I learned not to. I had the coronavirus. I was hospitalized for a week back in March when it was rampant. My daughter and my husband got sick too. Thank God I survived with much prayers from loved ones and medicine. But thank God I only was on oxygen. I didn't have to go on the ventilator. So
Oh,
after 1 week, I was released from the hospital.
oh, absolutely fantastic that you're here with us. I will give you an opportunity to say hi to anyone you want to in Jamaica here, ma'am.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jamaica. As a child of Jamaica, I would not be where I am today had it not been for Jamaica. The education at Haffordshire Primary and Queens really prepared me. And, you know, my brother Michael, who has been a role model, good morning, and another role model that I had growing up from the church and living in New York, your Senator Albin Hill, and my college mate, Ricky Alacock. I want to say hi to my cousins, Rochelle.
We've gone through all of this in this interview, but I would want to ask you, so, and you kind of said it, but how does someone go from Bay Farm Road to be a Supreme Court judge?
Good question. It's not giving up. And I'm telling you, there are many times I wanted to give up, you know. I went to law school and I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to go home. And somebody pulled me and said, look, it's too much. A lot of blood was shed for you to be here. So I pulled myself together and I finished law school. I mean, you know, if you come last in the class, it's still a JD, Juris Doctor. So just hang in there. And that's what I did. And again, the company you keep, there's some things you cannot do. And I am so happy that with my strict parents, you know, you don't have to go to every party. You don't have to go hang out. You don't have to wear the fanciest clothes. I never had any of that. But it's, you know, I would encourage parents, send your children to school. I'd encourage adults to say a kind word, just like that person took the time and said a kind word to me. Why not apply to law school? Encourage the children. And that's really what it takes.
Fantastic to meet you, ma'am. Great to have you with us this morning. And I pray that you and your family will be safe. And I pray every day that God will just blow this virus away from all of us and we'll be all right. Great to meet you, ma'am. God bless you.
Thank you.
Carol Sharp, Justice in the New York Supreme Court. All right, folks, after the break, we debunk common ideas and beliefs thought to be facts that really aren't. But first, here's our first band rewind performance, Fab Five in the house.